And that's why I like the model that I use that you taught me, where I'm more of a coach and a leader, and I'm helping them become better leaders.
And they're like, hey, here's my problem. And you're like, okay, that's a symptom of your problem, actually. Really, the problem is this other thing.
Our pain comes from the gap between who people are and who we want them to be. They're willing to kind of, do the work and trust my process. And that's why I love how we work a lot, because I really don't use a traditional consulting model, because I found it to be where people did not want to fix problems or look at what was going on or do anything differently. They wanted me to come in and fix or solve. And that can work in the short term, but in the long term, what works better is if I embody, or in this case, my client embodies the change that they want to see in others first, right? And then their ability to then translate that to others is so much more powerful, because they've done the work. They're not pushing off the work.
They're not outsourcing.
They're not abdicating
to you.
Their fundraising fears to me so that they can move around them. We're actually walking into them. My client said once, I was hoping to avoid the drama, and I said, but the drama that we want to avoid, but that's not drama. That's expression and emotion. What we call coming out for clearing, when we're gonna walk into the drama and embrace it.
That's where the transformation is.
Yes, that's where change happens. And so to try to use some tools to avoid the drama really doesn't work. And that's why I like the model that I use that you taught me, where I'm more of a coach and a leader, and I'm helping them become better leaders, and so they can coach the people around them, and we're all sort of collectively raising our ability and raising our authenticity and bringing everyone along with us.
I'm curious if you found, as a consultant, as a coach, as a mentor, that it's more challenging to make that sale. We've never talked about this, I don't think, but I'm just curious if people are like, hey, fix my problem, and you're like, no, sorry, I'm going to empower you to do it. It's like, no, thanks. Really want somebody to just fix it for me. Does that ever happen?
Kind of.
Yeah. Like, how do you manage that? Like that enrollment, sales, selling your services. Like, this is a good kind of segue into, for those of us here who are also selling consulting, coaching services, how do you deal with someone who comes to you and is like, hey, fix my problem?
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh.
One of the things we talk about a lot is the presenting problem isn't always the actual problem. Right. And my thing is, are they willing to go a little bit deeper and see the problem with a little more nuance? And actually, this happens to me less than it did before. Like, I think because what I do is more known and understood. And what I feel like is there's really two ways to look at this. I look for people that are willing to turn the lens on themselves, right? And say, I'm not getting the results I want, and I know it's really about me.
Okay. So that, for the person, your ideal person, is already suspecting, I got to look in the mirror here.
I think, and like this woman said, my board's not engaged. We have Zoom fatigue. And I said, I hear that. I get that. And also, people show up for what's important to them.
Yeah.
And I asked her some, I would say, I don't say hard questions, but questions. I say, how she answers these will let me know if she's ready for what I have or not.
Got it.
And, I said, can you see that people show up for what's important? And then she said, I've just lost my energy. I've lost my fire. There's a Rumi quote, right? You give from the overflow, not the depths of your well.
That's
a
right.
lot of nonprofit leaders are operating from the depths of their well, And when she just I said, so let's work together, energize you so you can energize them. And I guarantee you that Zoom fatigue will be no more. They'll be excited to show up.
Yeah, so it feels like also with me, same as with you, people come in and they're like, hey, here's my problem. And you're like, okay, that's a symptom of your problem, actually. Really, the problem is this other thing. Like, Zoom fatigue is how, with your clients, how the problem presents. The problem that they know they have is Zoom fatigue. But the real problem is the one that you're diagnosing in that sales conversation. Like, a really good sales conversation is one where you're identifying, well, the real problem is whatever, like maybe this person that's like, hey, my people have Zoom fatigue, maybe that person isn't showing up super energy rich to that Zoom call, so nobody else is all that interested in that Zoom call.
And that's exactly what she revealed, is like she was just low on energy. She did, and she was willing to see that it really started with her.
Right.
And if they don't get that, that's okay. That's where they're at.
Yep.
You know, our pain comes, and you can cross stitch this one too. Our pain comes from the gap between who people are and who we want them to be. Yeah. So if I can just accept that this is where these folks are at and they're not for me, that's okay.
They're not ready.
They're not ready.
I think that's a really important point for other consultants, coaches who are watching this channel. It's like, kind of like we talked about this a little earlier too. It's like not getting so attached to having to make the sale and instead being more attached to optimizing for alignment. Like, is this client ready? Are they a good fit? Are we gonna enjoy each other? What are some of your criteria that you're looking for when you hop on with a client? What are you looking for?
Well, I really look for someone who, again, knows that they're really the key to this. There's something more and they just don't quite know how to access it. And that a lot of my folks, because we're all helpers and fixers and solvers, they tend to fix everyone's problem around them. And they know it's getting in the way and it's not what they want to have happen. They don't know how to get out of that, you know? So they're really looking for themselves and they're willing to kind of, you know, do the work and trust my process. And I've gotten very good at identifying that person, you know. And here's the other thing I want to say is that I do work with organizations on messaging and marketing, and I do all that. But when I do it, it comes from this internal place. So I'm not looking at can I help you create a good message, because I don't create the messages. I give them the process to help them create that. What I'm looking at is there an internal capacity for them to be able to do this? Or is there work we need to do first in order to get them ready to do that? And if they're open to that, right? Like, yes, we're going to get that. Like, yes, we're definitely going to get to that. And it starts here. And if they can see that, okay, I get that now, right? Like this woman says, I need help with messaging. I'm like, okay, so tell me about it. Because I'm looking for my opening, you know?
Right.
And then I'm listening to her and I'm hearing what she's saying and I'm thinking, okay, I said, there's a lot of ways we could work together. You know, I'm hearing and what I feel like is it starts here. And I was saying, because if I can teach you how to enroll people in your vision, then all of these things that you talk about are going to get easier for you. So instead of starting, let's just start here. And she was like, yeah, I'm in. Like, okay. There we go. So I do feel like it's a combination of really listening and being open and seeing if gently leading people, and if they're willing to go with you, that's okay. And then sometimes they're not, and that's all right.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is you're looking for, and I'm looking for pretty much the same thing. We're looking for clients who are open, who are coachable, meaning that they are willing to look at themselves as the source of whatever they're looking to create. And they're willing to let you lead them, to let us lead them, right? So that they're willing to say, all right, I trust you. Yes. I'll go where you tell me, as opposed to being super resistant and trying to manage the process.
I trust that process. Sometimes I get people say, hey, you have this really great energy. Will you come fire up my board? Like show up at a board meeting virtually or in person, get everybody going. I said, I could. And also, what if I could teach you how to do that so you can fire them up anytime you want? You don't need me. Because I could come and they'll get excited and they'll needle a move, but it'll just go back to where it was. So I really moved away from doing things like that because I did not see it really creating the outcomes that people wanted. And so again, like trusting the process, trusting my experience, my wisdom. If this is the outcome you want, I do have a way to help you get there. It might not be the path you expected, but I know it's the path that'll work.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you, Maryanne. That was juicy information, very powerful. If you're curious about learning more, I highly recommend checking out Maryanne's book, Courageous Communication. It's a great book about taking a stand for what you believe in.
And I didn't see any models of that around me when I started my business. Like, I wrote my book, I had a website, I had a brand, I had everything. I didn't have a business model. And that's how I met you and what led me to you. Because like, how can I package and sell what I do in a way that it's energy rich for me and a value to my clients? And I really didn't see anybody around me. What I appreciate about you is that you showed me a way to do this because I didn't see any other models and any, in especially like locally for me or in my industry.